The galaxy had always been a place of wonder and fear. Stars glimmered like scattered diamonds across the endless black, planets spun silently in their orbits, and civilizations rose and fell in the dance of time. But never had any species seen a weapon that could shape something as ordinary as water into a force of unimaginable power. These weapons were called hydro weapons, and they terrified everyone. Alien leaders had gathered on the planet Vorelia to witness the first demonstration. The device, a sleek metallic orb hovering above the surface, hummed with energy. When activated, it caused a river nearby to swell and twist into shapes that seemed alive. Water surged into spiked tendrils, then formed walls that blocked the alien observers from seeing each other. Waves shot high into the sky, crashing down, with deafening force eroding the banks and leaving deep scars across the land. The crowd gasped. Some fell to their knees. Leaders whispered urgently to their aides. The hydro weapons were beyond imagination. No shield, no fleet, no army could stop them. Entire cities could be flooded, rivers redirected, and oceans stirred into storms, all by a single device controlled by a single mind. And yet, somewhere far away in a small star system unnoticed by the great powers of the galaxy, humans were going about their lives. On the planet Earth, or as it was called in the galactic records, Solara 3, a research ship named Endeavour drifted silently in orbit. Its crew was small, 5 humans and 1 artificial intelligence, but they were curious, intelligent, and daring. Humans had always been explorers, learning by trial, observation, and instinct. They had not yet heard of the hydro weapons. Captain Mira Solis stood on the bridge, staring at the swirling oceans below. Her brown hair floated lightly around her shoulders in zero gravity. "Look at that," she said softly, pointing to the planet's largest river. "Even now the currents are beautiful. Imagine what it would be like to control them." Her first officer, Rafi, a young man with a quick mind, frowned. "Control them? Captain, we aren't here for rivers. We're charting water anomalies near the equator. There have been strange readings. Energy spikes in areas where there should be none." Mira nodded. "I know, Rafi, but I can't help thinking, what if water itself could be a tool, not just a resource?" Before Rafi could reply, the ship's sensors beeped urgently. The AI, named Lyra, spoke in a calm voice. "Captain, energy spikes detected in multiple regions near the equator. Patterns indicate intelligent manipulation of water. Not natural. Unknown technology present." Mira's eyes widened. "Show me." The bridge's holodisplay flickered, revealing glowing streams of energy moving through rivers and lakes. The patterns pulsed, twisted, and formed shapes that no natural current could make. "Is this weapon activity?" Rafi asked, disbelief in his voice. Lyra's tone remained steady. "Unknown, but the energy signatures resemble theoretical predictions for hydro weapon output." Mira's heart raced. She had read about hydro weapons in the galactic archives, brief mentions in forbidden texts, stories of weapons that could destroy fleets, flood planets, and terrify entire species. No one had ever seen them in action, until now. "Prepare a landing team," Mira ordered. "We need to investigate on the surface. Carefully." The crew suited up and descended to the planet, landing on a wide plain near the largest river. The water glimmered unnaturally, forming small spirals that danced across the surface. The air was warm, humid, and charged with energy. "This is incredible," said Juno, the team's engineer. "It's like the water is alive, but also waiting for someone to guide it." Mira crouched to touch the river. Her fingers barely skimmed the surface before the water recoiled, forming a small, twisting barrier between her and the rest of the river. "It's responding to us," she whispered. Suddenly, a surge of water shot upward, forming a tall arc. Mira leapt back instinctively, but the arc twisted into a smooth curve, landing gently on the ground. The humans stared, unsure whether to be amazed or afraid. Lyra's voice interrupted their awe. "Captain, sensors indicate residual alien technology beneath the riverbed. Likely origin of the water manipulation. Caution advised." Mira nodded. "We stick together. Observe. Don't touch, unless necessary." As the team moved carefully along the riverbank, they saw the remnants of an alien device partially buried in mud. Its metallic surface reflected sunlight, etched with symbols they could not read. Small tubes ran into the river, releasing pulses of energy that made the water twist and writhe. Juno examined the device. It's active, even though it looks broken. The river itself is the power source. Mira frowned. This is more than a weapon. It's a tool, or a test. But who left it here, and why? They did not have long to wonder. The ground trembled, slightly, and from the distant hills, strange alien scouts appeared. Tall, armored, and armed with energy weapons, they moved swiftly toward the humans. Their eyes glowed with intelligence and fear of the hydro weapons in the river. "Back to the ship," Mira shouted. The humans ran, but the water itself seemed to guide their path, forming bridges over small streams and diverting obstacles. It was as if the river wanted them to survive. When they reached the ship, they realized something extraordinary. The humans, unlike the aliens, were not afraid of the water's chaos. They approached it with curiosity, creativity, and courage. Where the aliens saw destruction, humans saw patterns. Where the aliens saw power, humans saw opportunity. Lyra analyzed the data as they lifted off. "Captain, this technology responds to intent. Unlike other species, humans influence it naturally. Early observations suggest you may be able to manipulate the water more effectively than any alien operator." Mira's eyes shone. "So, humans can use these weapons?" "Yes," Lyra confirmed, "but carefully. The potential for disaster is immense." In the days that followed, the humans experimented cautiously. They discovered that by forming patterns in the water with small tools or gestures, they could redirect currents, create small protective walls, and even generate controlled waves. Each success built their confidence. Meanwhile, in the distant galaxy, alien leaders watched in alarm. Reports came in. A minor human species had discovered the hydro weapons, and they were using them not for destruction, but for clever solutions. Streams were redirected to prevent floods, small tidal barriers protected villages, and water itself seemed to obey the humans' logic rather than instinct. "This is impossible," one alien commander said. "No species has ever adapted this quickly. Humans, they are different." His colleague nodded grimly. "If they continue, they could upset the balance of power." The hydro weapons were meant to terrify, to control, to dominate, not to be used intelligently. Back on Earth, Mira stood on the ship's bridge, looking at the planet below. The river twisted peacefully, yet power hummed in every ripple. Humans were small, insignificant in the galaxy's eyes. Yet somehow they had found the key to controlling a weapon that had terrified everyone. "I don't know what comes next," she said softly to her crew, "but one thing is clear. This changes everything. The galaxy thinks they control the hydro weapons, but maybe, just maybe, humans do." Juno smiled. "Then we need to learn fast, and use it wisely." Mira nodded. "Yes, wisely. Curiosity is our gift, but we must respect the power we have found. One wrong move, and the rivers could become floods. One wrong decision, and the galaxy could be at risk." The Endeavor left orbit, carrying humans who were small, curious, and brave. They were unaware of the eyes watching them from distant systems, alien species debating whether humans were a threat or a miracle. But one thing was certain. The arrival of the hydro weapons on Earth's orbit marked the beginning of a story the galaxy would never forget. The rivers of Solara 3 sparkled under the sun, as if whispering a secret to the humans who had learned, even just a little, how to listen. The game had begun. And in this game, humans had an advantage no one expected: imagination. The humans of the Endeavor returned to Solara 3 orbit with a new sense of purpose. They had glimpsed a power that no other species had mastered, a force that could both create and destroy, and their minds raced with possibilities. The river that had tested them on the planet's surface, now pulsed with energy in their scanners, waiting to be understood. Captain Mira Solis stood on the bridge, leaning over the holographic display. Streams of water glowed in patterns that shifted constantly, like living veins across the planet's surface. Every ripple, every wave, it's responding to us, she whispered, almost to herself. Rafi, her first officer, frowned as he watched the data. It's more than that, Captain. It's like it thinks, or at least it reacts intelligently. I've never seen anything like it. Not even the most advanced alien tech behaves this way. Lyra, the ship's AI, spoke calmly. Observation confirms that the hydro weapons respond not only to energy input, but to patterns and intent. The human mind seems uniquely capable of interacting with this technology. Mira nodded. Then we need to understand it. Fully. Carefully. The crew prepared an unmanned probe to enter the river. The probe was designed to measure energy flow, water movement, and any latent technology hidden beneath the surface. When deployed, the probe transmitted images and data that astonished the humans. Beneath the riverbed lay metallic structures, half buried in sediment, connected to the hydro weapon orbs. Tiny conduits released pulses into the water, guiding currents, shaping waves, and storing energy. This isn't just a weapon, said Juno, the engineer. It's a network, a living system. Whoever built it didn't just want destruction, they wanted control. Total control over water itself. Mira's eyes narrowed. Then understanding it isn't enough. We need to learn how to use it, responsibly. Over the next days, the crew conducted experiments. They released small pulses into the river, observing how the water responded. At first, the currents resisted, twisting unpredictably, but gradually, the humans discovered patterns. Simple gestures, tools placed in certain configurations, even sounds could influence the water's movement. Rafi experimented with sound frequencies, tapping metal rods in rhythm. The water responded almost immediately, forming arches and spirals. It's listening to us, Rafi said in awe, not just to energy, but to our intention. It's intelligent in a way I can't explain. Juno tried a different approach. Using small energy emitters, he traced patterns on the river surface. The water began to follow the shapes, forming bridges and barriers on command. Mira observed quietly. This is unlike anything the galaxy has seen. Other species fear the hydro weapons. They try to dominate them. We're learning to guide them. As the humans explored further, they discovered more surprising effects. Water could be redirected in large flows without spilling over. Small currents could be amplified into powerful waves. Even fog and mist could be shaped, creating illusions or hiding movements. This changes everything, Mira said. If we can master this, the galaxy won't know what hit them. But we must be careful. Every experiment carries risk. Meanwhile, far from Solera 3, alien observers were growing anxious. Reports from their spies confirmed what humans were doing. Experimenting with the hydro weapons, not for destruction but for understanding. This species, they are different, said Commander Vrel, an alien leader of the coalition. His claws tapped nervously against the command table. They do not fear the hydro weapons. They adapt. They think creatively. No other species has ever done this. His advisor, a smaller but sharp-eyed alien named Kira, spoke. They are dangerous, Commander. Not because of brute strength, but because they learn. And learning leads to unpredictability. If humans master the hydro weapons, the balance of power in the galaxy will shift. Back on Solera 3, the humans began to test the hydro weapons in more complex ways. They redirected river currents to irrigate small plots of farmland near the research site. The water obeyed, flowing around rocks and plants without damaging them. They created small waves to carry floating sensors upstream, and even formed bridges of water that held small weights. Juno laughed as he watched a water arch hold a crate of equipment. It's like the river knows we're not enemies. It helps us. Mira smiled, but her thoughts were serious. We must not be careless. Every action has consequences. This weapon could destroy cities if we misuse it. We are not here to play gods. We are here to learn. One night, while the humans observed the river from the ship's observation deck, a sudden surge of water erupted near the site. Waves twisted and curved violently, almost as if the river were testing them. The crew rushed to analyze the phenomenon. "It's reacting to us," Raffi said. "But why now? We haven't done anything." Lyra's sensors detected a faint energy pulse beneath the riverbed. Residual alien technology may be activating spontaneously. The hydro weapons network is self-sustaining. It adapts. Perhaps it senses our growing skill. Mira nodded. "Then we must learn faster than it can act unpredictably. We need to understand the rules, or we could be caught unprepared." The humans continued their experiments, discovering subtle but powerful techniques. By forming patterns with their hands or tools, they could amplify small currents into significant forces. By coordinating movements and sounds, they could guide water over long distances. Each success built their confidence and skill. But they were not alone in their fascination. Alien observers continued to watch from afar, discussing what they had seen. "Humans are a minor species," Commander Vrel said, "yet they have mastered what we could not. Their creativity, their persistence. It is troubling." Kira nodded. "Perhaps we underestimated them. Perhaps they are not just a curiosity. Perhaps they are the beginning of something new." Back on Earth, Mira and her crew began to realize the true potential of the hydro weapons, not just as tools of war, but as instruments of creation. They could prevent floods, guide rivers to grow crops, or even shape water to build temporary structures. The weapons once feared by the galaxy could be used for good, if humans controlled them responsibly. Juno, ever practical, pointed to the glowing river. "Captain, I think we're ready for the next step. Not just experiments, but real application. Small, safe, controlled." Mira agreed. "Yes, but we must move carefully. Every action will be observed, and if other species learn what we can do, they may come for us." Their first application was simple. A small riverbank near the research station had been eroding from unusual currents. Using their new understanding, the humans guided the water to create protective barriers, redirecting the flow without harming the surrounding ecosystem. The success was astonishing. Water, once chaotic and dangerous, had become a cooperative force. Lyra analyzed the results. Humans' interaction with the hydro weapons is unprecedented. Other species manipulate through fear and force. Humans manipulate through thought and creativity. Efficiency and safety are maximized. Mira looked at her crew. "We are witnessing the beginning of something greater. Not just for us, but for the galaxy." Hydro weapons were feared for destruction. We are learning to turn fear into opportunity. That night, as the humans rested aboard the Endeavor, the river below glimmered under the stars. Twisting currents and small waves moved in patterns that seemed almost alive. The humans had not yet mastered everything, but they had begun to understand what others could not. In distant systems, aliens continued their debates. Some wanted to suppress humans immediately, fearing the consequences of such unprecedented skill. Others argued for observation, curiosity, or even negotiation. But one truth became clear to all. Humans were not ordinary. Small, fragile, and often underestimated, they had discovered something remarkable. And in the quiet of space, humans slept, unaware of the attention they had drawn. Their curiosity, courage, and intelligence had unlocked a path that no other species had walked. Hydro weapons were no longer just tools of terror. They were keys to understanding, creation, and perhaps one day hope. Captain Mira Solis stared at the stars through the observation deck. Her heart was calm but determined. "The galaxy fears the hydro weapons, but we have seen what they can be, and we are ready to learn." The Endeavor drifted silently above Solara 3, carrying humans who were small in the eyes of the galaxy, yet capable of greatness. The rivers sparkled with hidden energy, waiting for the hands, minds, and hearts of humans to guide them. The game had changed. The galaxy had yet to realize it, But the first step had been taken. Humans were beginning to understand the hydro weapons, and nothing would ever be the same. The humans of the Endeavor had learned much about the hydro weapons, but they had yet to test their skills in a real challenge. Observation and experiments had shown the potential of water as both ally and shield, but knowledge alone could not prove their strength. That opportunity arrived sooner than expected. A distress signal blinked on the bridge's display, urgent and chaotic. Mira Solis leaned forward, frowning. "Source?" she asked. Lyra's calm voice replied. "Signal originates from the colony of Lumeris, a water-rich world near the hydroweapon detection zones. The colony reports an alien task force attempting to seize their water resources. Potential confrontation imminent." Rafi's jaw tightened. "An alien strike? Here? That colony isn't armed to fight. We have to help." Mira nodded. "Prepare for immediate deployment. This is our chance to test everything we've learned safely and strategically. We won't destroy anyone, but we will protect the colony." Within hours, the Endeavor descended to Lumeris, its crew coordinating with the local humans. The alien task force approached, tall, armored, moving in perfect formation. Their weapons emitted blue energy pulses, designed to disrupt conventional defenses. On the surface, the colony's villagers scrambled for cover. Mira assessed the situation. "We cannot match their firepower directly, but we can use the river, the lakes, and our understanding of water. It is our advantage," Juno grinned. "Finally, some action. Let's see how the water listens to us under pressure." The humans positioned themselves strategically along the colony's main river. With careful gestures, they guided small currents to form barriers, diverting alien energy pulses harmlessly into the ground. The water obeyed with precision, rising like walls to shield villagers, then flowing gently back without causing harm. The aliens, confident in their technology, advanced. But every step brought new surprises. Rafi directed a current to twist and curl, forming spirals that blocked the alien line of sight. Mist from nearby waterfalls was shaped into a fog, hiding human positions and confusing the attackers. Water from the river flowed upward in arcs, forming bridges that allowed villagers to escape without touching the ground. "Look at that," exclaimed Juno. "The water. It's working with us." Mira smiled, though her mind was sharp with strategy. "It's not just working, it's responding to creativity. We must keep thinking, keep adapting." The aliens paused, studying the humans' tactics. Their technology could not anticipate the patterns of intelligent guidance. Unlike brute force or programmed logic, humans combined thought, observation, and intuition. Every move was unpredictable, yet precise. Lyra analyzed the energy flows. "Captain, the hydro weapons are amplifying human coordination. The aliens cannot predict outcomes. Probability of alien success is decreasing rapidly." Mira nodded. "Then we fight smart, not hard. We protect, redirect, and confuse. No unnecessary destruction." As the battle continued, the humans discovered subtle advantages. By shaping small water currents into thin threads, they could tangle alien equipment, slowing movement. Fog obscured sightlines, and rippling waves created illusions, making it appear that the colony was larger and more fortified than it actually was. One alien commander, frustrated, shouted orders. His troops tried to break through the defenses, but every action was countered by water. Waves rose at precise moments to block movement. Rivers changed course to separate units. Even rainfall, guided by humans, created natural barriers. "This is impossible," one alien muttered. "They are using the hydro weapons differently. They are not afraid. They adapt." From the bridge of the Endeavor, Mira coordinated the defense with calm precision. "Rafi, increase current strength near the western bank. Juno, create a diversion upstream. Lyra, monitor energy fluctuations and alert us to sudden changes." The humans' movements were like a dance, and the water obeyed every motion. Currents became walls, waves became shields, and mist became a cloak. The aliens advanced, then retreated, confused and exhausted by the unpredictable tactics. Finally, the alien task force faltered, Their formation broke, weapons misfiring as they struggled against forces they could not control. The humans pushed gently but firmly, guiding the water to block escape routes without harming anyone. One by one, the aliens were immobilized, trapped. By their own momentum and the clever manipulation of water, Mira exhaled. Hold positions. No attacks unless necessary. We will end this now. With coordinated gestures, the humans guided the river to encircle the remaining alien units. Water barriers rose and flowed in precise arcs, separating soldiers and equipment. Streams redirected weapons harmlessly into empty areas. Finally, the aliens realized resistance was futile. They surrendered, unable to comprehend how humans had used what was supposed to be a terrifying weapon against them without destroying life. Juno laughed quietly. They expected fear, brute power, not skill and creativity. Mira allowed herself a small smile. Humans think differently. That is our strength. We can protect without destroying. The colony's villagers emerged from hiding, staring, in awe at the rivers and streams. Water, once ordinary and sometimes dangerous, had become a shield, a barrier, a force guided by human minds. Children laughed as currents flowed gently around them, creating harmless waves. Adults marveled at the river's responsiveness, realizing humans had transformed fear into safety. Lyra reported, "Analysis complete. Human interaction with the hydro weapons demonstrates unparalleled adaptability. No other species has ever achieved this. Probability of replicating results by aliens is near zero without similar intuitive guidance." Mira looked out over the colony. "This is only the beginning. We have proven we can control the hydro weapons, not just react to them. But the galaxy will not remain unaware for long. Others will notice and some will not be pleased." Indeed, far across the stars, alien leaders watched the aftermath. Commander Vrel's claws tapped nervously. They did not destroy, yet they defeated us. They are not just survivors. They are strategists. We misjudged them. Kira, his advisor, nodded. Humans are dangerous in ways we cannot measure. They use intelligence and creativity, not just power. The hydro weapons, once feared by all, are now tools of innovation in their hands. Back on Lumeris, Mira and her crew helped rebuild what little had been disturbed. Small rivers were guided to nourish crops. Water flows were stabilized to prevent future flooding. The colony realized that humans had not only defended them, but had also improved the environment using the same force that once caused terror. Rafi smiled at Mira. "Captain, do you think they understand what we did? The aliens, I mean?" Mira shook her head. "They may try to, but they cannot. They fear what they cannot control. And humans, we adapt. That is our edge," Juno added. "And we did it without killing anyone. Imagine what we could do if the galaxy understood that power does not need destruction." Mira looked at the rivers glistening under the sun. "Then we teach by example. Every action we take must show that intelligence and creativity can match and even surpass fear and brute force." The humans left Lumeris, carrying not only experience but also a message. Small, underestimated, yet brilliant. They had shown that hydro weapons could be controlled responsibly. And for the first time, a minor human species had achieved something that had terrified the galaxy for centuries. In the quiet of the endeavor, Mira reflected on the journey so far. Humans were small, their fleets and weapons weak compared to the giants of the galaxy. Yet their minds, their courage, and their ability to think creatively had turned fear into strategy, chaos into order, and power into protection. "Rafi," she said quietly, "the galaxy thinks it knows fear, but it doesn't know humans yet. Not really." Rafi nodded, understanding. "We've shown them a glimpse, Captain. But the game is only beginning." Lyra's voice added, calm and observant. "Analysis of the encounter indicates that humans' approach to the hydro weapons is unprecedented. Adaptability, intuition, and ethical restraint are key factors. Probability of long-term success high." Mira smiled faintly. "Then we continue, carefully, wisely, and boldly." We have more to learn, more to master. But one thing is clear. Humans are not just survivors. We are creators, innovators, and protectors. And the hydro weapons, they have found their true stewards. As the Endeavour departed Lumeris orbit, the rivers below sparkled, carrying both water and a silent promise. A promise that humans could guide what was once feared into something extraordinary. The galaxy had been shaken, not by destruction, but by intelligence, courage, and creativity. And somewhere in the vastness of space, other civilizations began to whisper, "The humans. They are not like us." Word of humans controlling the hydro weapons spread faster than anyone could have predicted. Across star systems, alien leaders convened in secret councils. Rumors, once dismissed as exaggeration, were now confirmed. A minor human species had not only survived against a powerful alien strike, but had done so without destroying a single life. They had turned fear into strategy, chaos into order, and the galaxy was uneasy. Commander Vrel paced before the glowing maps in the Galactic Council chamber. They cannot be allowed to continue. If humans master hydro weapons fully, no species, no empire, will retain control. Kira, his sharp-eyed advisor, nodded. We should unite our forces, combine fleets, armies, and technology. A coordinated strike may be the only way to suppress them before they become too strong. Meanwhile, aboard the Endeavour, Captain Mira Solis monitored incoming transmissions. Lyra's voice reported quietly, yet urgently. Captain, multiple alien fleets are moving toward human-occupied systems. Probability of coordinated attack, high. They seek to challenge human control of hydro weapons directly. Mira's brown eyes narrowed. Then we cannot wait. We must act first, protect the colonies, and demonstrate that humans are not to be underestimated. The Endeavour raced from system to system, coordinating with scattered human settlements. Each planet had unique water sources, rivers, lakes, oceans, even ice fields. Mira realized that each environment offered different advantages. One of humanity's greatest strengths was their ability to adapt quickly, something even the most advanced alien empires struggled to comprehend. Juno leaned over the holographic display, tracing river patterns. Captain, each colony has different water sources. If we use them smartly, we can create defenses that are unpredictable. They won't know what's coming. Exactly, Mira said. We use strategy, not brute force. Let the water do what we have learned to guide it. Rafi added, and we coordinate with each colony. Small, precise actions in each system can make a larger effect, like threads in a web. Mira nodded. Prepare communications with all colonies. We'll synchronize actions when the fleets arrive. Days later, the alien coalition arrived. Hundreds of warships armed with energy weapons converged on human systems. On each planet, soldiers prepared to invade, believing their technology, and numbers would overwhelm the humans. But humans were ready, and the rivers, lakes, and seas awaited their command. The first encounter occurred on the water-rich planet of Selvaris. Humans guided river currents to form massive walls, diverting energy blast harmlessly into empty terrain. Streams twisted to separate enemy units, and tidal waves created temporary barriers, allowing villagers and soldiers alike to move safely. On another planet, Mira coordinated with Rafi and Juno. They used ice fields and rainfall to obscure vision, create slippery obstacles, and disrupt alien formations. Water vapor formed dense fog, masking positions and confusing sensors. Lyra reported, Captain, alien fleets are unable to adapt to simultaneous environmental manipulation across multiple systems. Predictive models indicate a high probability of confusion and retreat if humans continue coordinated actions. Mira's mind raced. Then we keep moving. Focus on strategy, not attack. Protect the colonies. Demonstrate that intelligence can surpass brute force. The aliens were frustrated. Their advanced technology could not anticipate humans' creativity. Every time they tried a direct assault, water shifted, tides rose, or currents twisted to block them. Even their aerial drones faltered. caught in unexpected whirlpools or mist that obscured sensors. Commander Vrel barked orders from his flagship. "Concentrate fire, focus on one colony at a time." But Kira shook her head. "It is useless, they are connected. Humans are using water to coordinate defenses across distances we cannot measure. They think faster than our algorithms can process." Back on Silvaris, Mira directed her team with calm precision. Rafi, create a diversion upstream. Juno, guide the rivers to isolate enemy units. Lyra, monitor energy fluctuations and adjust water flows dynamically. The humans' tactics were almost like a game of chess, but on a massive scale. Currents became walls, waterfalls formed barriers, and tidal surges disrupted enemy formations without harming life. In every action, humans used creativity, adaptability, and coordination. The alien fleets tried to regroup, deploying massive energy barriers and weapon blasts, yet the water continued to respond to humans' subtle gestures and patterns. It twisted into spirals, arcs, and waves, anticipating alien movements. One by one, alien units found themselves immobilized, separated, or redirected. "Look at this," Juno exclaimed. "They think they can predict us, but we're not predictable. Water listens to us, not them." Mira smiled faintly. "And that is the advantage humans have: imagination and intuition. No machine, no weapon, no fleet can match that when guided wisely." By the end of the first wave, humans had protected every colony without causing destruction to life or infrastructure. Alien forces were stunned. They had faced countless wars, countless species, and countless weapons, yet they had never encountered opponents who used fearsome technology not for destruction, but for protection and innovation. Commander Vrel clenched his fists. "We underestimated them. We thought humans were small, insignificant, and weak, but they are clever, creative, and fearless, and they have mastered what terrifies us." Kira's eyes narrowed. "This is only the beginning. If humans continue to evolve their understanding of hydro weapons, the galaxy itself will have to adapt." Back on the Endeavor, Mira looked at the holographic displays showing rivers, oceans, and ice fields bending to humans' command. "We have proven something important," she said. "Humans are not just survivors. We are protectors, innovators, and strategists. We can face any challenge, not through sheer power, but through intelligence and creativity." Rafi nodded. "And the hydro weapons? They respond to us because we approach them differently. No other species uses them like this. That's why we can succeed where others fail." Juno added, "We've shown that fear is not the only way to control power. Knowledge, patience, and creativity work better." Mira smiled. "Exactly, and we will continue. Every colony, every system, every human life matters. Our goal is not conquest. It is protection, learning, and progress." As the humans continued to defend colonies, alien leaders began to reassess their approach. They realized that no amount of fleets or weapons could overcome humans' adaptability. The hydro weapons, feared for centuries, had found stewards who used them wisely, carefully, and creatively. For the first time in galactic history, a minor human species had shown that true power did not lie in fear or destruction. It lay in intelligence, adaptability, and ethical use of technology. The challenge was far from over. Alien fleets would continue to test humanity. Systems would face threats. But one lesson had been learned across the stars: humans were not to be underestimated. They could turn fear into strategy, chaos into order, and power into protection. Mira stood on the bridge of the Endeavor, gazing at the rivers and oceans below. "We have proven our strength," she said softly. "But strength is not enough. We must continue to learn, adapt, and guide wisely. The galaxy will watch us, and we must show that humans can be guardians, not conquerors." Lyra's voice added, calm and observant. "Analysis confirms that human coordination with hydro weapons is unprecedented. Adaptability, intuition, and ethical restraint are the keys to long-term success. Probability of continued protection high." Mira nodded. "Then we continue, carefully, wisely, and boldly, The galaxy will remember this. Humans are not just survivors. We are innovators, protectors, and masters of what others fear. The Endeavour rose into orbit, leaving the rivers sparkling below. The humans had faced their first galactic challenge and had emerged victorious, not through force alone, but through creativity, intelligence, and the courage to turn fear into opportunity. Somewhere across the stars, alien leaders whispered among themselves, "Humans, they are not like us. And the hydro weapons, they have chosen their true stewards." The game was far from over, but humans had proven one undeniable truth. Even the smallest species could change the course of the galaxy when courage and creativity guided them. Across star systems, alien leaders spoke of humans in tones of both caution and respect. Once dismissed as insignificant, humans had now mastered hydro weapons, technology that had terrified civilizations for centuries. But the most surprising fact was not that they used it. It was how they used it. They had not destroyed. They had protected. The Council's dilemma on the distant world of Virelion, the Grand Galactic Council gathered. Massive chambers filled with beings of every shape and color. Floating holograms showed recent battles where humans had bent rivers, oceans, and storms to stop alien fleets without wiping them out. Commander Vrel's voice echoed. "This cannot continue. If humans rise further, their influence will spread across all systems. They will disrupt our balance of power." Others disagreed. Elder Zor, an ancient being whose species once feared hydro weapons most of all, shook his scaled head. "You misunderstand. Humans do not seek conquest. They protect their colonies, their people. They use what we feared as a tool of life, not destruction." Kira leaned forward, eyes sharp. "That may be true now, but power changes people. How long until they decide to dominate instead of defend?" The chamber filled with uneasy murmurs. Far from the Council, aboard the Endeavour, Captain Mirasolis received intercepted reports of these meetings. She studied them carefully. "They still do not trust us," she said quietly. Rafi frowned. "Maybe they never will. We scared them by doing the impossible. We took their greatest fear and made it ours. That kind of thing leaves marks." Juno crossed his arms. "Then we show them again. Show them that humans can be trusted. If they fear us, we answer with action, not words." Mira nodded slowly. "Yes. Words alone won't convince them. We must demonstrate that our strength serves more than ourselves." A call for help. The opportunity came sooner than expected. Lyra's voice carried a tone of urgency. "Incoming distress signals. Origin, planet Calvor. Alien population under threat. Source of danger, unstable hydro weapons activity, uncontrolled." The bridge crew stiffened. Uncontrolled hydro weapons. That meant disaster, floods, storms, destruction. Entire populations could be lost. Mira stood tall. "Set a course. Prepare all systems. If we succeed, we prove to the galaxy that humans are not masters of fear, but guardians of balance." The Endeavour leapt through space, arriving above Calvor. From orbit they saw chaos. Massive tidal waves rolled across continents. Storms circled the skies. Oceans overflowed into cities. Millions of lives were at risk. Juno whispered, "If we do nothing, that world is gone." Mira's eyes hardened, with resolve. "Then we will not do nothing. Humans are here, and we will help." The Great Rescue. The crew acted quickly. Lyra calculated storm patterns, predicting where tidal surges would strike next. Rafi coordinated evacuation routes with local forces. Juno worked with engineers on the ground, channeling water flows into safer paths. But the greatest task fell to Mira herself. Standing on the observation deck, she raised her hand toward the turbulent oceans. She could feel the hydro weapon's energy, wild, unstable, like a storm without guidance. "Listen," she whispered. "Not with fear, with calm, with patience." Slowly, the waves began to respond. What had been chaos started to form patterns. Torrents split into streams redirected away from cities. Floodwaters carved safe channels back to the sea. Storms above began to ease as the atmosphere obeyed her subtle commands. On the surface, alien citizens watched in awe. They had expected destruction. Instead, the small human ship guided nature back into balance. Where their own fleets had failed, humans succeeded. One alien leader exclaimed, "They are not destroyers. They are guardians." For 3 days, the humans worked tirelessly. The Endeavor coordinated thousands of rescues. Villages once drowning were saved. Farms once ruined were preserved. Even alien leaders who had doubted humanity saw the proof with their own eyes. When the storms finally settled, when the oceans calmed, Mira stood exhausted but proud. "It is done," she said softly. "The world lives." A new reputation word of the rescue spread through the galaxy faster than light. Stories reached distant colonies. Humans had saved an entire alien planet from destruction, not for gain, not for conquest, but simply because it was the right thing to do. At the next Galactic Council, the tone had shifted. Elder Zor addressed the chamber. "You have all seen it. Humans saved Calvor. They risked themselves for strangers. Tell me now, are these the actions of conquerors?" The chamber was silent. Even Commander Vrel, once the harshest critic, could not deny the truth. Finally he spoke. "Perhaps we misjudged them." Humanity's decision back aboard the Endeavor, the crew gathered in the main hall. They had faced battles, storms, and suspicion. Now the galaxy watched them differently. Rafi leaned forward. "We could use this moment. Demand a seat at the Galactic Council. Demand equal rights, recognition, and power." Juno frowned. "That would make us look like every other empire. That's not who we are." Mira listened to both sides, then rose. "Humans have a choice. We can use this power to rise like all others have, through fear, control, and demands. Or we can rise differently. We can show the galaxy that strength is not in domination, but in service." The room grew quiet. Her words carried weight. Lyra's calm voice added, "Analysis indicates that long-term trust is best achieved through restraint and assistance, not conquest. Humans' unique strength lies in unpredictability and creativity, not empire." Mira nodded. "Then we will not claim thrones or crowns. We will not demand. We will act. Every time a colony is in danger, every time a species faces disaster, humanity will stand there, not with fear, but with hope." Her crew smiled, inspired. The legacy of hydro weapons. Months later, humans were no longer spoken of as weak or insignificant. They were called guardians of the waters, a title given by the very species who once feared them. Hydro weapons, once the most dreaded technology in the galaxy, had become a symbol of protection. Rivers, oceans, and storms were no longer tools of terror. They were reminders of what humanity could do when guided by courage and wisdom. Commander Vrel, in private reflection, admitted to Kira, "I once feared them. Now I see. They may be the hope we all need." And on the bridge of the Endeavor, Mira looked out at the stars. She knew challenges would come again. There would always be those who mistrusted, those who tested, those who threatened. But she also knew this. Humanity had chosen its path. Not conquerors, not destroyers, but protectors. She whispered to herself, "The galaxy will remember not that we held power, but how we used it. That is the human way." Closing. The story of hydro weapons had begun in fear. Civilizations had trembled at their power, believing them untamable. But in human hands they had found something new. Not fear, not destruction, but hope. And so, wherever rivers flowed, wherever oceans roared, wherever storms gathered, there was a quiet belief among the stars. If humans were near, balance would be restored. The smallest species had become the greatest guardians. And in the end, it was not hydro weapons that terrified everyone. It was the thought of what humanity could achieve next.